So, welcome to everyone to this new appointment in our video area here at the Meta Economist TV. The guest today we want to introduce to you is Ansh Chaudhary. At the same time, we want to talk again about the new economy with him and also with your comments. So, welcome, Ansh. Thanks for being with us.
Ciao, Liara. Thank you so much and giving me the opportunity of having me here. I appreciate that.
Okay, so and the first question for you, and also I want to explain why we decided to interview you. It's because you are very good at supporting companies in this year's all over the world, dealing with the new economy, dealing with the new technologies that are connected with the new economy. So you have around 2 decades of experience in many different companies, and you have contributed to the leadership roles across strategy, sales. So you are a company mentor in the economy, and what is your work, your job about?
Yeah. So, Ilaria, typically I initially like all engineers, I began my career as an engineering graduate, all right, and then very quickly I moved on into more strategy and sales roles, right? And having said that, I have had worked in different technologies, different industry verticals like telecom, IT, wireless, to some extent, media as well, and now newer technologies like blockchain, Web3, and so on, right? So after I finished my professional working or job career somewhere around 2011, I moved into my entrepreneurship gig. So, which means I started my own companies, right? I'm on the second one right now, which is eywa, and the first one being Vidya. And apart from that, I also work with a lot of accelerators directly with independent companies, allowing them to scale, grow their sales, get funding, get mentored. And yeah, so these are certain things that I've been doing. And it allows me an opportunity to learn from bright minds. It also allows me to grow my knowledge. And in return, I am also able to contribute to a certain amount of growth for them.
Okay, so you have a really big experience in this world. And what did you decide to make this full immersion in the Web 3.0 and the blockchain and metaverse economy?
Right. So I think a good amount of time back, rather decades back, we moved from an industrial revolution into an information revolution, right? So, and that's where it all started. And the internet came about. It allowed people to share knowledge freely. It allowed people to import and export information from one corner of the earth to another corner effectively, with speeds increasing, data capacity increasing, communications becoming cheaper, and bringing the whole world closer. Now we are at the cusp of another revolution where we see newer technologies, which is Web 3.0, which gives rise to crypto, blockchains, and data privacy and those kind of technologies coming into prevalence. The major important part of this technology is to make web decentralized, right? That's the core important part that it needs to do. And when it does that, it allows people to more effectively create their own version of business, of creation of products, services, and so on, right? So we have now entered into a creator economy. So from an information age, we've moved into a creation age, right? And as this decentralization of the web carries on, what will happen is a lot many businesses will start getting the access to internet, the newer age technology, which will make them be able to do business on both online and allow their offline businesses also to come online very effectively, right? And that's why um, we have seen that This was more like a tool that or a revolution that was being spoken about, right, pre-pandemic. In the pandemic, we were forced, or rather enforced, to embrace digital technology, right, without which we were unable to buy our food supplies, medicines. We were unable to get groceries home. We were unable to do a lot many things, right? So all education and business moved into online meetings. So it became kind of a timestamp in our daily life. And having said that, going forward, this will only become a norm, right? This will become acceptable. So while the physical interaction of business will always be there, but there will be a profound need for businesses also be agile and adaptive to these newer technologies, right? If you look at, for example, once the decentralization of the web starts beginning to happen, uh, the happen is a word which allows, or rather emphasizes on the point that the industry is able to adapt. Number one, it is able to make this into mainstream work, right? Information age did not succeed in one day. It took decades for it to succeed. Of course, now with the new revolution of Web 3.0, we are presuming that since internet is profoundly available, digital transformation is happening and is right on the cusp, right? It will take lesser time to get adopted into mass society. Once it gets adopted, whether it's government, whether it's private companies, whether it's the larger public, they will all become a part of it in their own meaningful way.
A key point now of this digital transformation that you are telling us about is transparency and security. So these are the two areas you are working with the companies you are supporting now.
Yeah, so as data moves, right, from people to the World Wide Web and more decentralized into enterprises, into Web 3.0, right, there will be a need for security for sure. And that's why you will see a lot of growth in cybersecurity ventures and companies. Those technologies will become more and more ubiquitous in our lives and businesses, be it financial institutions, insurances, telecom, communications, government bodies, health and telemedicine. Everywhere, security will play a very important role. Data privacy is already prevalent in Europe, with the GDPR being there, right? And there are more stringent laws which are getting inducted because to protect private or customer or common people's private information. You have a similar rule that has come up in the UK. You have a CCPA in the US. So yeah, every country is getting its own version of GDPR. So data privacy will become a very, very key, and companies will need to consent to be able to keep customers' data with them, and usage thereby based on what permissions they have actually accrued, right?
Okay,
The second, yeah.
you often say that we are experiencing nowadays what you call the movement from offline to online. Can you explain this to us?
Yeah, so typically what happens is, if you are a customer, let's say, to a supermarket chain, right? You go there on a weekly basis. You could be a customer to a telecom operator and you use their service on a daily basis. You could be, let's say, ordering food using from a pizzeria, for example. In all of these cases, one thing is very, very common is that your touch point to get that service could be online. It could also be online, so offline, right? So you could actually walk into a physical store or a branch to procure a service. You can be the same person who can come and complain on the digital medium, or let's say a Facebook page or a Twitter, about the service complaints that you might have. You can also go to the e-commerce store and buy the products from the same brand. So what happens is, it is important for the brand or the enterprise to understand you are the same person everywhere, right? And if they know that you're a customer and it's your voice, which could be a compliment or it could be a complaint, right? they can understand your data journeys within the enterprise and use sophisticated systems like customer data platforms to be able to serve you better, right? Like reminders to go for your grocery shopping every Saturday, for example, sending you relevant offers which are meaningful to you, right? Telling you that your plan is going to get outdated and you need to move to the next upgrade of the plan. So all of this becomes very meaningful conversation between you and the brand that you're using.
Okay, and so we have more than 1 minute around to end this interview, and I wanted to ask you, why are these technologies the most important things that companies have to bet in their futures?
Yeah, so if you see the trend for digital transformation is already on the cusp, right? So pre-pandemic, there were discussions that were being made, right? But within the pandemic, there was a huge need for having digital transformation in place, all right? And now that need has become a want. So companies want to have this, right? The second part is that decentralization of the web and giving rise to blockchain, Web 3.0 kind of technologies is now basically on a propagation mode, right? It is yet to be seen what the larger use case could be, right? So the more mass adoption it has, the more use cases will evolve, right? Typically, for example, blockchain is based on a concept of a transparent ledger, right? So industries like advertising, industries like government documentation updates, industries which deal with a lot of information, banks, accounting, financial corporations. These are the ones who will be the early adopters, and they already are, if they aren't, right? So, and that's where I think major companies who are willing to transform, who are willing to go to the next millennia in terms of doing business, they would have already started putting their budgets in place to embrace such technologies.
Okay, so really, really interesting the talks we have today with Ansh Chaudhary. So thank you, Ansh, for being in such complete in your explanations to us, to our public, and thanks again to have been with us, and thanks for the work you are doing, alphabetizing the entire company world, the entire companies in the world to these subjects. And thanks for all the people are watching and will watch this video. So thanks to all, and bye. See you in the next the Meta Economist TV interview.
Thank you so much, Ilaria. Thanks for having me. Thanks to you, and thanks to Meta Economist. I look forward to engaging more in future.